Welcome to the second annual Post OHSAA District Tournament here. First of many games this weekend, as we'll start off with the Beavercreek Beavers battling the Rangers of Indian Hill, the Rangers JV team in the black jerseys, heading down the ice, and Beavercreek in the home white jerseys upwards as Joe Bordas gets the start of net against Fritz Graham of the Rangers. And we are underway. The Post OHSAA District Tournament is focused on giving Ohio High School Athletic Association and USA hockey teams a fun and competitive way to conclude their hockey season. In fact, we have ourselves 18 games. The Buckeye Year-End Tournament B Division starts tomorrow morning, and we have 18 games in a row right on this YouTube channel, South Metro Sports. As the Beavers in the attacking zone, it slips away from Captain Cole Gutterman and recovered again by the Rangers in black. I believe that's Masturzo working the left wing, blocked shot, and fired on towards Bordas. Joe Bordas in the net. Andros unable to tap it on home. And wide of the reach of Bordas. Rangers keep it in, make it 41 seconds into the first. Andros looking for the stick of a friendly Ranger across. I believe that was Evans. Andros with a big check on the shoulders of Carson Cox. Loose puck, Cole Gutterman sweeps in. Goes towards the right, looking for right winger Thomas Bush, one of two alternate captains for head coach Greg Gutterman. Sleeping away from the reach of Jao Masturzo. With 13:50 to go in our first period. We play high school rules, 15 minutes of hockey. We'll have an ice cut in the second intermission. Again, each of these 6 teams get 4 promised games, the Sunday games you have to play for. Fired wide of the reach of Graham. The captain of the blue line is Riley Hansen settling up on the left side, but that pass picked off, and down this way will come Wardman. Ben Wardman make that Andros shuffling it across, and the Rangers have their first line change of the night, as that's Carson Cox looking up ahead for Nate Shivelbein. And back this way, Shivelbein reaches away from the red helmet of Ben Wardman. Around the right corner it goes, sail from the right corner, as Graham continues to watch on the left side of the net. 13:05 to go in the opening frame. Backhander goes over the net and sailed down by the Rangers defense as Wardman, right wing, looking for the left winger, crossing this way. And the Rangers in the black jerseys, white numbers, white letters, heading down the ice. Push across, fired on in by Hansen in the left corner, and the Beavers make another change as Cole Gutterman returns to action. Bigger bench for the Indian Hill Rangers by a couple skaters. Beavercreek, they have 2 goalies. Joe Bordas in net tonight. Ben Duford is the backup. Tapped across the blue line, 12:30 to play in the first, still no score. Beavers went 18-11-3 on the season, including a 5-1 playoff defeat to Thomas Worthington. As Gutterman gets fed from Hebert, Asa Hebert, to the right face-off circle. Fired on in, that goes off the protective net, and back down we go with a face-off. 12-13 remains in the first period, and there's no score between Beavercreek and Indian Hill. This is not Indian Hill High School. That would be home of the Braves down in Cincinnati. This is the Indian Hill Winter Club, called the Rangers. Had a couple of youth hockey teams participate in the Buckeye Year-End Tournament with Indian Hill. We had the Rangers, 14U A4 team into town. They went 1-1 in their tournament, as that feeder to Hebert is broken up by the Rangers. As Andros returns for a second shift. Backfiring is Owen Foster, the left defender, to the referee crease. Tangled up, now scooped up. Here's Braden Cox pushing ahead. The alternate captain looking for the captain. It skips wide, and defense shuffled away from Fritz Graham. 11:41 to go in our first period. No score here at South Metro. Again, 18 games, including many of the Post OHSAA District Tournament. And we have some Buckeye Year-End Tournament B3 12U action starting tomorrow morning at 7:20. In fact, all 4 of the teams participating will be from around the area. Furthest one, I think, is Northern Kentucky. And that's just around Cincinnati area. Around the Zamboni corner we go, as it's scooped up by Braden Cox, looking up ahead for Joe Martin, and picked off as Turzo backhander, and Bordas with the shuffle out of the reach of Adam Evans. Around the bend, Joey Donahue. Zamboni corner from the right side, scooped in down low. Here's Riley Hansen, bouncing it off the end boards, looking for Martin left wing, chased by a Ranger. And out down this way, here come the Rangers defensively. That was closest to Seamus Donovan. 10:45 to go in the first period, no score. Beavercreek and Indian Hill, a couple good looks on their opposing goalies. Fritz Graham representing the Rangers out of Indian Hill, a northern Cincinnati suburb. Officially, Indian Hill Winter Club's home is Camp Dennison, Ohio. Swept forward towards the left, and the Beavers go for a line change. Cole Gutterman returns to action with Bush and Owen Huff. 10:20 to go in the first. Rangers tangled in the neutral zone. That's James Samarco. Push across, that's Ben Wardman. Fired on home. Carson Cox gets a bump from Ackerman, Angus Ackerman. Here's a fire on in by Bush. And Bush scores for Beavercreek. 10:05 to go in the first. And the Beavers draw first blood. Have a Ranger jumping on to the bench with no number on the back. But it's Thomas Bush, the left side of Graham, scoring the first goal of the tournament. Down low, Huff looking for some of that action. And it's absorbed into the chest of Fritz Graham. It's 1-0 Beavercreek, 5:01 gone from the contest as Thomas Bush rings the bell first, and the Beavers go on top by 1. Faceoff is to the right of Graham. And back this way, here comes Indian Hill. Working the right wing, I believe that's Angus Ackerman, spun around. And loose puck picked off by Carson Cox. Here comes a glove flying as Braden Cox now past Gutterman and also Huff. Fired in from the right wing, and that's gloved with the left hand of Fritz Graham. 9:41 to go in the first period. 1-0 Beavercreek your score. We'll have the entire Post OHSAA District Tournament for you here on this YouTube channel. We're happy you're joining us this weekend for more exciting hockey. The last weekend of hockey for these clubs. It's a way for everyone, especially the seniors, to go out on a very competitive game instead of a lopsided 16-0 affair. Across the blue line, tapped away by Ethan Webb as Bordas slows it down. First-year goalie for Beavercreek, formerly a forward for head coach Greg Gutterman, as Donahue trying to get past the right point, but it's back to the Rangers. Here's Charlie Andrus across the blue line. Handled by Webb, looking for Hansen across the blue line. Shivelbein pushes it across and sent off towards the left where it's Masturzo to the Zamboni corner. 9:02 to go in the first period. 1-0 Beavercreek your score. Thomas Bush scoring for the Beavers for a lone goal. Around the right corner as Hansen, now Webb, frees it away. Heavy on the touch was Shivelbein. Settled down by Webb, working behind the boards with Charlie Andrus. Loose puck back to Hansen. Off the boards is Shivelbein around the right point man in Donovan. But it's back to the Rangers defense. Smooth sailing ahead for left defender João Masturzo. And back behind the goal line, Masturzo dropping it, looking for Shivelbein. Andrus with a chop and a takeaway. However, barely gets it past Shivelbein, and it's Carson Cox with a push. Up ahead, it's Captain Cole Gutterman with Bush on a 2-on-1. Gutterman flings it wide left. 8:13 to play in the first. 1-0 for the Beavers. And down this way, it'll be controlled by the Rangers. Rangers in their second pod tournament. Arm goes up, delayed offside against Indian Hill. And up ahead, Gutterman waiting for the pass to the slot. And Fritz Graham, it keeps it out of the back of the net. Good, quick leg work. Icing waved off by the nearest referee. And we'll have Ethan Webb retrieve it for the Beavers in the home whites. Black numbers, orange trim, black shoulder blades. First-year jerseys, both home and away for the Beavers. They're the home team in this contest, leading 1-0 against Indian Hill. Hebert gets a pass off the tip of the stick, and I believe that's settled down by the Rangers. Out of the grab of Samarco. And around the corners it goes for an icing call against Indian Hill. Well, the player that didn't have the number on the back of the jersey, there's a 9 taped on there, which I presume is Joshua Nixon. There's a 9 in goal, that's Fritz Graham. Unless there's 2 of Fritz Graham, that's not accurately portrayed in the program. I'm going to say that's Joshua Nixon out there, donning the 79 jersey. A little bit different of kit, but that's okay. We'll have a face-off to the right of Graham, and the Rangers down by 1, pushing across with 7:19 to play in the first. Gloved and pocketed by Joe Bordas. Donning the old number of Kevin Bovair. Graduated last year, had a great season for the Beavers in net. As we'll drop it to the left. Hansen battles against Angus Ackerman. Joshua Nixon trying to battle the stick of Joe Martin. And Nixon comes away with it across the center ice circle where Braden Cox bouncing it towards the right. And around it bend, it goes off Nate Shivelbein. 6:59 to play in the first period. It's 1-0 Beavercreek thanks to the goal from Thomas Bush. Fitzgraham from right to left. Nixon battling down low with a Beaver. Around the end boards, around the left corner, and scooped up by James Samarco. Still in Indian Hill's attacking zone. Good check there, but the Rangers come up with the puck. Settled down by Braden Cox across the South Metro logo. 6:30 to play in the first period. 1-0 Beavercreek, your score. Around the left corner it goes, pushed across. It's handled by Beavercreek. From the right corner, there's a nice spinning check from Thomas Bush. However, the Rangers defense still has it, but being pestered quite quickly by the Beavers. I believe that was Gutterman sending it side of the net and Graham tipping it across. Now we have Masturzo work the right wing, one-on-one with Carson Cox going wide and ahead of Joe Bordas. Evans trying to keep it alive for the Rangers attack. 5:59 to play now in the first period. Still 1-0 for the Creek. As Gutterman zigs and zags. Good handwork there by Gutterman, and the captain trying to score against Graham, but what a nice stretch and slide by Fritz Graham. 5:49 to play in the first. 1-0 Beavercreek is your score here. Got lots of hockey for you this weekend on the YouTube home of South Metro Sports. I mentioned the entire pod tournament will be here on this YouTube channel or here at South Metro Sports if you'd like to come out and see the action for your own self. Without the assistance of a screen, this Maturzo shot blocked and over the net of Bordas. Controlled now by Bush. Andrus in the way. As Turzo trying to feed Andrus. A lot of these names I recognize from last year's pod tournament on Indian Hill's team. Here's a forward feed just high over the net. Masturzo trying to tie things up. No one there for the rebound. Bush, however, tangled up at the left point. The Beavers defense has to come back and maintain it. 5:13 to go in the first period. 1-0 Beavercreek, your score here. Down this way. Chipped away from Masturzo's stick. Make that Hampton. Jackson Hampton. Left wing time. It will slip away from the puck carrier in Adam Evans. And pushed up ahead. Thomas Bush gets a bump at the left point. Still battling with the skates. A tangle up at that spot. And Cole Gutterman trying to rotate around. Nice lockout job there by the Rangers. However, here comes Owen Huff on the right wing towards the circle. Huff still driving. Goes around the cage and bounces off a Ranger where Indian Hill comes up with it. 4:33 to play in the first period. 1-0 for the Creek. Webb now for Carson Cox. Bumped by Evans. Back to Indian Hill off the glass. Scooped up ahead. Here's Riley Hansen. Check starting to pick up in noise intensity. Shivelbein chasing back to the Rangers. Forward ahead. I believe that's Luke Moore. Picked off by Carson Cox, left wing. Spun around by Joshua Nixon, who's battling for the puck in that left corner. On the other side, here's Ben Wordman. Jammed up in the slot. Shivelbein couldn't push it through. Here's now Joshua Nixon off the boards. However, that'll signal an icing whistle from the Stripes with 3:55 to play in the first. 1-0 Beavercreek is your score over Indian Hill. Every team in this tournament, we have 6 of them, will play 4 games. 3 have been scheduled for Beavercreek. They'll take on the Cincinnati Lancers at 12:30. And the Saturday evening game is at 7 against Sycamore. And then depending on how the teams do with points, they'll play a certain time on Sunday, 2, 3:30, or 5. That goes wide, tip in. Hebert denied with the legs of Fritz Graham. Backhander, that won't go in by Bush. But Cole Gutterman picks up the rebound behind the goal line with 3:37 to play in the first period. And it remains 1-0 Beavercreek thanks to the goal from Thomas Bush. And Indian Hill working a 1-on-4. A 1-on-1 with the defender as that is controlled by Ackerman. Swung around the Beavercreek defender. Backhander blocked by Braden Cox. Swept around by Ethan Webb. Now pulled down by Nixon. A forward feed across the right bend with 3:14 to play in the first. Still 1-0 Creek. We have Bush from the right corner, pushed ahead behind the net of Joe Bordas as Bush now centering things up. Gutterman towards the left. Hebert that way too. Bush keeps it. Shot is blocked and goes wide of Fritz Graham. Around the right corner, big check turned in by the Rangers. They're in the black jerseys, red shoulder blades today. Fired on in by Braden Cox, curves wide in front of Fritz Graham, possibly off the goalie, possibly off the mob in front. Gutterman! That'll score for the captain. And it's 2-0 Beavercreek. With 2:44 to play in the first. The captain rings the bell, and the Beavers go up by 2. We have Braden Cox slicing towards the right. Fired back in by the Rangers. Good size on this Rangers squad, if I remember right from last year. Towards the left face-off circle off the stick of Ebert. Shivelbein dialing towards the left. Joe Martin waiting in the left face-off circle. Back for Shivelbein, chiseled away as Braden Cox dropping back in the defense. However, the Rangers pass picked up shy out of the neutral zone. 2:14 to play in the first. It should be 2-0 Beavercreek. Neutral zone pickoff. Here's Masturzdo curving to the right. Chased with the stick of Martin. Flung towards the left. Big boom, but back at the right point. A feed in by Seamus Donovan. Couple of big pushes as Andros trying to keep it alive for the red and black. Fired on in. Martin intercepts the pass and works a 3-on-2 back this way. Martin sliding forward. Shivelbein trying to feed it off. That's off the tip of the glove of Graham. 1:43 to go in the first. 2-0 Beavercreek your score. From the left point, that's Carson Cox. A push up ahead. Carson Cox is trying to get back. As I believe one of our next teams comes in. That's the Cincinnati Lancers, formerly the LaSalle Lancers. Thomas Bush with a cross across the blue. 1:23 to go in the first. Again, we'll have an ice cut in the second intermission. Down the Zamboni corner, the nearest referee says no icing. Now for Bush in front of Bortis. Evans up ahead. Here's Bush, the right wing. Pass Masturzdo. Gutterman going back for Bush. Heavy bounce, but here's a shot on Fritz Graham, and Graham will cover up the loose puck well wide of the crease with 1:01 to play in the first. Bortis will take a stroll out of the crease as we head towards our final minute of the very first period of the second pod tournament, the Post OHSAA Districts Tournament. You can pick up a program at the main gate. It's all here at South Metro Sportsplex. Last year it was at the National Trail Parks and Recreation Department chiller in Springfield. From the left point, 2-0 Beavercreek your score. Bush trying to fire it on in, and it's scooped up defensively by the Rangers, namely Luke Moore. On the left side, here's Huff. A push up ahead to the neutral zone where Wordman works a 2-on-2. Fire back in. Carson Cox got the puck away, also the stick of Charlie Andrus away. Make that Nick Gates out of the way. 30 seconds left, 2-0 Creek your score. Gutterman scoring the last one. Thomas Bush, the go-ahead goal. Beavers have struck twice against this Indian Hill Rangers squad, part of the Indian Hill Winter Club family. Around the right side, Wordman trying to go for it. Gutterman pushes it through for Beavercreek. 12 seconds, chopped over the net of Graham. That's Nixon giving chase to Thomas Bush. Behind the goal line, Beavercreek looking for one more towards Huff. Jammed up was a sliding Cole Gutterman. And that's 15 minutes accounted for. 15 minutes accounted for where Beavercreek scores twice to Thomas Bush and Cole Gutterman's goal. And after one, it's 2-0 Creek here on the YouTube home of South Metro Sports, your home of the 2020 Post OHSAA District Tournament. And back on the ice as the Rangers move upwards. And Beavercreek will attack downwards as Bortis returns to net. Opposed by Fritz Graham of Indian Hill. It's Thomas Bush and Cole Gunnerman scoring the goals for the Beavers. And Beavercreek leads 2-0 as we resume action here. The home of South Metro Sports on YouTube. Thanks for joining us this evening. It's Lee W. Mound be here all weekend. Thank you, Jeff Dufour, for the nice words as we get back to action. Now go wide of the net of Bortis. Settling down on the other side is Charlie Andrus. And back this way will come Beavercreek. Beavercreek, Indian Hill, the two teams. You might know that because they're playing right now. But we also have the Centerville Elks and the Sycamore Aves, which are new this year. They're taking the place of the Dayton Stealth JV and the Troy Trojans. We also have the return of the Lancers, now known as the Cincinnati Lancers. And we'll have a whistle, and is that off the protective nets? It looks like it's just going to be a drop in the neutral zone. 39 seconds into the second. And 2-0 Creek your score. No change in score since the start of the second period. And also the alternates as well. We'll get to the schedule shortly as Joey Donahue with the pass from the right face-off circle. Fired on Ethan Webb that bounces off of Seamus Donovan. About a minute in around the right corner. One-on-one as that is Hampton feeding away right to Shivelbein. Andrus trying to keep it away from Shivelbein, tipping it in. The Beavers back in their attacking zone. Good pressure so far throughout this game for the Beavers. We have Riley Hansen on the chase against Masturzo's drive. Hampton will give chase for it. Again, that's Jackson Hampton. Left point jam up. Webb couldn't push. And now a 2-on-1 back this way. One-timer well wide of the net of Joe Bortis as Evans trying to settle it down. Seamus Donovan back at the left point around the bends. 13:30 to go in the second period. And it's a 2-0 Beavercreek lead. Seamus Donovan back with the defensive grab. Jammed up ahead was Luke Moore. A battle down low as Donahue trying to win it back for the Beavers. Here's Gunnerman with the takeaway, fresh off the bench. Gunnerman, a zig and a zag across, lost the handle, and our first penalty of the game will happen with 13:10 to go in the second. We'll have tripping called for our first infraction of this Post OHSAA District's tournament. The guilty Ranger heading to the sin bin will be Charlie Andrus. Like I mentioned, a lot of these names are recognized from last year. Charlie Andrus happens to be one of them. Good lineman. I believe Angus Ackerman was on that line with Jal Masturzo. We'll have Ackerman for the faceoff, opposed by Gunnerman, and Beavercreek has the first power play of the game with 13:10 to go in the second. 2-0 Creek. Past the reach of Ackerman in the left faceoff circle. Gunnerman, one-timer, sailing wide from Bush. Samarco battling with Nate Shivelbein around the Zamboni corner. Bush trying to settle it down against Luke Moore. The two will tangle with the two Rangers. Rangers logo is similar to the old conference badges, if you remember back in the day before the NHL lockout. And when the NHL had an orange badge too. Bush with the bounce push. Feeder back to the left circle. Could not feed Shivelbein, and that is Ackerman trying to clear, but it's blocked by Carson Cox. Nice read at the left point, 40 seconds into this power play. So Marco trying to feed it across. Here's Carson Cox, now Braden Cox. Shuffled around towards Shivelbein, and Bush bringing up the right wing to the circle, chased by Nixon, now with no numbers. High over the net of Graham from Shivelbein. Nixon patrolling the slot. Ackerman trying to get a shorthander feed out. Here's Shivelbein across wide of the net of Graham. Nixon battling with Bush. Bush has the go-ahead goal. Looks for Braden Cox. Goes for Gunnerman instead behind the net. Gunnerman from the circle. 45 seconds left. Fired on in. Graham with the right leg stop. Here is Luke Moore with the first clear. It's going to be angled wide of Bortis. Looked like it was going to start to curve towards Bortis. However, it bounced and then hit the ice. 30 seconds left in the power play. Beavercreek hustling across as Hansen across the blue line. Fire back in. Seamus Donovan returns to action. Now for Huff across the left side. Samarco will run Huff into the boards by the Beavercreek bench. Lots of bodies around that spot now with 12 seconds left of the power play. 11:20 to go in the second. A whistle and have ourselves a stoppage of play because the puck left the rink. Face-off will be back to the right of Graham with 9 seconds left in the first 5-on-4. 2-0 Beavercreek is your score. Masturzo comes in against Hansen. Flung towards the corner as Donovan now past the chopping stick of Webb, and that will kill off the first power play of the game. 11:10 to go in the second. 2-0 Beavercreek. The Beavers 0 for 1 on the extra skater advantage. Here's Carson Cox with a drop for Donahue in front of Andrus, who served his 2 for tripping. And behind the net of Graham it goes as Riley Hansen starting to work. Pushed on the blue line. Webb now back to Carson Cox. 2-0 Creek your score. Go-ahead goal by Thomas Bush. Second one by Cole Gutterman. Behind the net is Andrus giving chase. Huff cycles it around the boards where Seamus Donovan picks it back up. Now from the right point, pushed on in. It's Evans. Past Huff. Blue line keep in. Swatted down with a hand of Masturzo. Evans, Donovan. 10:19 to go in the second. Still 2-0 in favor of Beavercreek. 3 games tonight. This Beavercreek Indian Hill matchup you're watching. We also have Cincinnati Lancers and the Centerville Elks, the Sycamore Aves and the Alter Knights at 8:10 and 9:40 respectively. And then we got 6 pod games tomorrow starting at 11 a.m. Centerville Alter leads things off. Gunnerman drops it off left point as the Beavers have to get it back from their attacking zone into their own defensive zone. Giving chase will be Andrus, also Evans on the other side. Gunnerman speeds ahead, Hampton in front. Gunnerman curves around from the defender, shot save and kick forward by Graham. Behind the line it goes as Gunnerman, and the Beavers leading 2-0 towards the slot. Hebert unable to get a clean handle. Graham has it trapped. The puck comes loose after the whistles. We'll have a stoppage of play with 9:29 to go in the second. I mentioned the Alter Knights are part of this. They have something special cooking here at South Metro Sports in the summer, June 23rd, 26th. The Battery Hockey Camp and the Battery Hockey Academy are pleased to announce power skating, individual and team hockey skills being the focus of the camp. Shot save Graham. Featuring Columbus Blue Jacket alternate captain and former NHL All-Star in Cam Atkinson. It's pretty cool. It's not every day you get to learn from an NHLer. We have Ackerman dialing over towards the left, finding Jackson Hampton, pushing across as Hampton works right wing to the circle. Hampton sent it wide on a loop. Cross towards the left corner. Here's Thomas Bush battling. And Beavercreek comes away with it defensively. 8:59 to play in the second. 2-0 Creek. Pass slips away from the captain, Gutterman, and that's going to be icing the call on Beavercreek. Beavers use this time to swap out the lines. And Indian Hill happy with the 5 they have on now. Moore and Nixon are your defensive pairings. Samarco is your left winger, Ackerman the center, and right winger is Nick Gates. And like I mentioned, this Indian Hill squad, their second pod tournament. They have a high school program, Youth Hockey Association. Plays at a very beautiful Indian Hill Winter Club, just inside the 275 belt. Nixon fires it on in, looks for Ackerman, but blocked with a stick of Ethan Webb. Right point steal. Here's Beavercreek pushing down the ice. Nixon quickly in front of Martin. Turnover. Here is Hansen, and it's punched into the glove of Fritz Graham. Didn't think that Graham was going to hold on to that. That was a quick fire rifle. I thought it was going to burp off the arm, but Graham with a nice catch. He's done a nice job in net against the high-powered Beavercreek offense. Finished second in the Southwest Ohio High School Hockey League Red Division, only to the Talawanda Brave, who are battling in the state playoffs in the Columbus District. They have number 1 Upper Arlington. Needless to say, that's no easy task. Rangers have it defensively. It's carried now by James Samarco. Looking straight ahead off the stick of Shivelbein. Picked up now neutral zone. Turning around will be Ackerman, Angus Ackerman. Looking for Gates on the right wing. Pushing across Martin. Loose puck. And it's scooped up by Braden Cox. 7:53 to go in the second. About halfway through our first pod contest. 2-0 Beavercreek tip in. Graham slides in front. However, we have elbowing called. With 7:47 to go in the second, elbow is the call, sending a team back to a power play. Indian Hill yet to go on one. Beavercreek going on their second one as Seamus Donovan uses the elbow. And he'll use some time in the penalty box. 2 minutes for a minor elbowing call. And we'll drop it to the right of Fritz Graham. We have Masturzo part of this PK cell with Nixon. Also looks like Andrus is the right winger, Hampton the left winger. Cole Gutterman part of this power play cell. Only two clears given up in that first PK for Beavercreek. As the power play Beavers go back with it, already cleared 10 seconds in by Indian Hill. As the Rangers trail 2-0, Beavercreek looking for one more on this power play. Icing the call against the Beavers, back in front of Bortis will go. 7:27 remains in the second, 2-0 Creek your score. And we'll drop it to the right of Joe Bortis. It's Gutterman facing off. Behind the goal line as now it's Braden Cox giving chase. Gutterman, Vid up ahead, 3-on-2 in favor of the power play team. Across the Bush, some open net off the Graham and to the back of the boards. Here now is Hansen jammed up with the stick of Andrus. Seamus Donovan still 1:17 to work on his penalty kill, 7 to play in the second, halfway through this first game. 2-0 Beavercreek, shot from the blue line. Braden Cox denied by Fritz Graham. Around the right corner is Gutterman. From the right to the left for Hansen. In the slot, trickled wide. Thomas Bush couldn't score his second there. Found on in right point, past the legs of Webb, but swooped on in is Braden Cox. However, we have slashing signaled with 6:41 to play in the second. 2-0 Beavercreek your score. And for the first time, the Beavers send someone to the box. And it's Ethan Webb, guilty for a slash. We'll skate a little 4-on-4 for fun. With 6:41 to play in the second. 2-0 Creek your score. Behind me, I see some of these Centerville Elks watching this game. Nice to see the herd of elk here. Back this way, out the left point, fired on in, wide of Bortis' reach. On the other side, it's going to be scooped up by the Beavers. Nixon dropping back in the neutral zone as it's Cole Gutterman stripped of the puck on the left wing. Bush trying to swoop in. That's a nice strip by Masturzo. However, the Beavers defense has it. 33 seconds left on the 4-on-4. Gutterman unable to get there first. Hampton's there, curving towards the right, away from Andrus. Nixon trying to hold on to it, and it's back for Masturzo, who swings forward. A drop back pass that's off Bortis. Loose puck. Gutterman has it. 6:03 to play in the second. 2-0 Beavercreek your score. And up this way we'll have Thomas Bush. Bush curving from the right. 2 Rangers tangling up. Loose puck is stomped on with the left glove of Fritz Graham. 6 seconds left on the Indian Hill elbow from Seamus Donovan. And 1:11 to go on the Ethan Webb slash. Beavercreek 2, Indian Hill 0. This is the Rangers JV squad. Again, youth hockey organization that calls Indian Hill Winter Club home. Wonderful facility. Evans coming in against Riley Hansen for the faceoff. Here's Braden Cox. Score on the 4-on-4. Braden Cox has a 4-on-4 goal with 1 second left. And the Beavers strike first in the second period to increase their lead to 3-0 Beavers. 5:49 to play in the second. Seamus Donovan has 1 second, meaning the puck will fall, and once the clock gets rid of that second, he can come back out and play or go to the bench for a new 5th Ranger. Back in the neutral zone, here's Shivelbein, and Indian Hill has their first power play of the game, as the 5th Ranger will come on out before Seamus Donovan leaves the box. Nixon's shot save off the shoulders of Bortis. Behind the goal line now, here's Riley Hansen. 50 seconds left in the Indian Hill power play. Nice job in front of the blue line by Luke Moore. We'll have Hampton give chase for it, or make that Samarco actually. And a clear turned in by the Beavers. Coming off a 22-game Buckeye year in tournament swing where in youth hockey, clearing while on the PK is still icing. It's a little different to come back to high school and see it, back where clears are allowed. It's scooped up by Luke Moore. Around the side, Moore gets hammered into the boards. This is going to be on target. Graham with the lean in the slide and a hold as Riley Hansen swoops in. But Graham lets it go for Seamus Donovan. Strung up ahead on target at Bortis, almost like a glorified game of Pong there. Swept on the other side, Beavercreek laces a biscuit, and that's another clear turned in by the Beavers, and that will bring us back to 5-on-5. Even strength time. Wes back to the box for Joey Donahue. Make it to the bench, but 4:32 to play in the second. Beavercreek 3, Indian Hill 0. Seamus Donovan towards the left. Here's Samarco pushing up ahead. Shivelbein comes up with it in the right corner and almost pinballed off the skates of Donahue, but stays in front of Graham. Behind the goal line, here's Shivelbein working around the net. Donovan chips it away, just out of the grab, but Donahue slipping away from the first-year Beaver. On the other side with 4:07 to play in the second, it's going to be Ackerman with the pickup around the boards and into the neutral zone, pushed up ahead. Turning around will be Seamus Donovan. Now pushed up ahead, bumped away was Carson Cox. Lost his stick in the process as Joshua Nixon flings in straight ahead, intercepted by Beavercreek. That is Braden Cox with the lace up ahead. Seamus Donovan laces it down. Delayed offside, now waved down against the Beavers. Donovan going towards the right. Cannot find Ackerman, nor could he find Wordman. And that brings us an icing call against the Rangers with 3:37 to go in the second. Again, we'll have an icing. We'll have an ice cut in the second intermission. Gutterman going to work, opposed by John Masturzo. Flung on towards the left. Here's Hampton going back for it. Hampton with a push up ahead. Masturzo. Neutral zone time. And scooped up by the Beavers. On the other side, here is Webb. Can't find Owen Huff. Still in the neutral zone. The Rangers with the forward flick by Angus Ackerman. Here's Bush picking it back up. Bush has the go-ahead goal, the first one scored by the Beavers. Got him in the second. A 4-on-4 goal by Braden Cox. Round the Zamboni corner, scooped up by Thomas Bush. Bush towards the slot. Could not find Huff, and Hampton knocks him down. Masturzo pushing up ahead. Under 3 to play in the second. Huff will come off. He might be hurt a little bit from that shove down, as we'll have Joe Martin return to action. Around the right corner, in front of Bordas, to the neutral zone. It's going to be a race for the puck, and speeding ahead, here is Braden Cox, a shot and a save off the pads of Graham. 2:33 to play in the second. Beavercreek leading Indian Hills JV squad 3-0. First game of many of the Post OHSAA District Tournament. Shot, save, Graham, rebound, tangled around by Joe Martin. Here's Bush, and that's lasered into the chest of Fritz Graham. 2:20 to go in the second here in our first game. First game for both the Rangers and the Beavers. The Rangers, they'll get these Beavers for 2:20 to go in the second and the third period. Then they'll get Sycamore for the last Saturday early game. And then Centerville to wrap up the 3 scheduled games. Then really determines who did what to set up Sunday's game. Flung on a high as it's Martin pinballing it back, but Samarco's in the way, looking for Wordman, the left winger. And it's going to be waved off as Braden Cox swoops in, going towards the left. And it's slowed down by Nick Gates. 2 to play in the second period, 3-0 for the Creek. But Indian Hill back in their attacking zone. Bordas pitching a shutout thus far, past the reach of Nixon. Nice screen, but Luke Moore went offside. Offside against the Rangers. And back in the neutral zone, we'll have a drop of the puck with 1:47 to go in the second. Good turnout of fans. The last hockey weekend for these 6 clubs. Face-off will be right side of the neutral zone. Samarco will take this one against Riley Hansen. Flung on back and controlled by Braden Cox. A fling up ahead and a 2-touch. Knocks it away from Riley Hansen. Nixon collides with a Beaver. Here's Shivelbein towards the right in the slot off the back skate of Hansen, but gets to Fritz Graham and held on by the Indian Hill backstop. 1:33 to go in the second. 3-0 lead favoring Beavercreek. Pushed up ahead by Samarco. Flung on in by the Beavers attack. Here's Nixon up ahead. Picked off by Hansen, working the left wing towards the boards. Hansen pushed down from behind. Arm stayed down as Luke Moore almost had it. Nixon will go back for it, away from Shivelbein. Samarco on the chase, swarmed in a sea of Beavers. and trickling wide of the net of Fritz Graham. 1:05 to go in the second, entering our final minute of the second period. 3-0 favoring Beavercreek. Towards the slot is Shivelbein looking to tip it in. Hansen trying to sweep the puck away. He lost it as Moore looks towards the right. A one-on-one battle for it as Martin trying to get the inner cane down on it. Moore's got it through the legs of Nixon. Picked up left point by Carson Cox. Out of the reach of Carson Cox. Up ahead by Gates. Out of the reach of Warman. Delayed offside Beavercreek, and that will bring out a new line for the Beavers. Cole Gutterman, the first Beaver to chase it down. Moore to Wordman. Heavy touch picked off by Thomas Bush. 22 seconds left in the second. 3-0 for the Creek. And that's going to be icing on the Beavers, heading back in front of Joe Bordas. Bordas' backup is Ben Duford. Both goalies have done well this year. Again, Beavercreek 18-11-3. They've lost 2 in a row. They lost the Swashel Championship game to Talawanda Brave 8-1. Shivelbein got the Beavers on the board early in the first 2 minutes, but the Brave would rattle off 8 straight goals to hoist their first trophy since their 2009 season. The last time they did 11 years ago for the Brave. Nixon, right point, off of Bordas and heading towards the corner. Swooped on from the left bend, and that will do it for 30 minutes in the books. 2 periods in, and Beavercreek 2 in the first, 1 in the second, lead Indian Hill 3-0. Back to the locker rooms the teams go. Maybe. Oh, there we go. I was questioning myself there for a minute, but to the locker room the teams go. Here in the YouTube home of South Metro. We'll come back. It's the second intermission here with Beavercreek leading Indian Hill 3-0. It's 3-0 Beavercreek after 2 as we head to the third period. By the way, in scoring, you might wonder how teams get their game scheduled for Sunday. Well, it's based on a point system, and it works like this. For every period you win, you get 1 point. Beavercreek so far 2 points out of a possible 2. They outscored Indian Hill 2-0 after 1, 1-0 in the second. So that's both points for Beavercreek as the Beavers head back up the ice against Fritz Graham. And it's Joe Bortis back in net for Beavercreek as the Rangers fly downwards here in this third period. There are 3 more points on the table, 1 for the third period, and also if you win a game, you get 2 points. If it's tied after regulation, both teams split the 2 points, make it 1 point each, and losses in a period and a game result in 0 points. We have played 26 seconds here of this third period, where Beavercreek, 2 points out of a possible 2, look for the clean sweep against the Rangers JV squad of Indian Hill. Again, the northern suburb of Cincinnati, fired on in and stomped on by Fritz Graham. And we'll have a line change upcoming for Beavercreek. 40 seconds into the third. 3-0 for the Beavers, your score. As Thomas Bush, Cole Gutterman, Braden Cox have scored goals. Braden Cox, a 4-on-4 goal. As up next, we'll have the Centerville Elks and the Cincinnati Lancers tangle. And, of course, that'll be here on the YouTube home of South Metro Sports. We hope you join us for all the action this weekend. All 12 games of the pod, the second annual Post OHSAA District Tournament, will be on this channel this year. Across the right point, a tangling. And now swooped in by Seamus Donovan with the defensive grab. Right now, Thomas Bush's only goal would be the game winner if the guest side doesn't change from a 0 to a 1. Shuffled over towards the left, looking for Joey Donahue in the slot. It's blocked twice by the Rangers. On the other side, Indian Hill coming away with it, looking for Adam Evans to push it downwards. Flung up ahead, just off the grab of João Masturzo. Around the bends it goes as Ethan Webb now scooped up by Braden Cox. Donahue works it. Scooped up by Indian Hill. Fired wide by Masturzo and high. Gates and Nixon will have to backtrack that shot all the way back in their own zone. The Beavers will bring out a new line of offense. As Gutterman jammed up the Ranger puck carrier in Joshua Nixon. Picks it up in the left corner after sliding out of the bench. Huff out there too. We see Bush crashed in the glass. Braden Cox looking to drip it out for Huff, but the Rangers swarm in front. Settled down now by the Beavers defense is Braden Cox from Ethan Webb. Beavers 0 for 2 on the power play, although they did score a 4-4 goal. 12.5 to play in regulation. Here come the Rangers. Loose puck, batted up ahead. Gutterman trying to turn around, won't be able to get there in time. Down this way, stopped off the stick. Ackerman fired on home by Luke Moore, blocked. Ackerman on the race for it as Webb trying to clear it. Webb on the left wing, Gates trying to win it back. Here's Gutterman around Nixon. Gutterman pushing forward. Here comes Luke Moore, sent up ahead, and Graham is just going to cover up the puck with Thomas Bush swooping on in. 11:59 to play in the third. Beavercreek 3, Indian Hill 0. Again, another point on stake for the periods. Beavercreek holds on for the win. That's 2 more points. Face-off will be to the right of Fritz Graham. Blue line time, it's Carson Cox. Looking for Joe Martin. Rangers defense trying to pick it back up. We'll have Hansen trying to shuffle it on home. And down this way will come Indian Hill. It's a 2-on-2. Flung towards the left, looking for Nick Gates. Battle in the Zamboni corner as Gates trying to tangle around the body of Webb in front. Gates unable to get there. Bortis stop, and Gates unable to get that loose puck again. That time thanks to defensive pressure by Carson Cox. Darted towards the left, 11:20 to play in the third. 3-0 for Beavercreek. Down this way, it's slowed down with the stick of Gates, and fired on in, the shutout over. That's James Samarco. firing in from the right boards. And Indian Hill on the board, 11-11 to go in the third. 3-1 Beavercreek, your score. Marco flung it in past Bortis. And the shutout over for the first-year goalie for Beavercreek. However, the Beavers still with a 2-goal advantage. If the score stays 3-1 to the end of regulation, that means Indian Hill picks up the point, but Beavercreek would still get the win. There's a nice save by Bortis with traffic in front. That's Turzo trying to add on and cut into the deficit even more. Settled down now by Seamus Donovan. Flip ahead. Looking forward was Musturzo. Back to Gutterman it goes. Here's Bush from Gutterman. Right wing time to the circle. Drop back Gutterman. Shot save. Graham. Flung away by the defense of the Rangers, and icing will be called on Indian Hill. With 10:37 to play in the third, 3-1 Beavercreek, your score. The entire rules section can be found in the programs. Again, the Academy Hockey Club second annual Post OHSAA District Tournament happening today, the 28th, tomorrow, the 29th, and March the 1st. The last weekend of hockey for all 6 of these teams. Battle towards the right point where it's shoved ahead by Hebert. Behind the net as Joshua Nixon comes up with it for Indian Hill. Gutterman make that Braden Cox trying to slow it down. Shove it on ahead, looking for Carson Cox. Away from Andrus. Delayed offside, Indian Hill waved down quickly as Braden Cox across the blue line. Chipped it around the right corner where Thomas Bush will play it on the left wing unopposed. Now met up with some Ranger pressure and more on Andrus. 5 minutes gone from the third. Beavercreek leading 3-1. The Rangers get on the board first here in the third. Looking for more. No one there to finish it off in front of Bortis from Masturzo. Back to Beavercreek it goes as Bush from Hebert and Gutterman. And looks like that's a delayed penalty on tap. Bortis will make the slow skate to the bench. Around the left corner as Gutterman works it. And a power play has been issued to Beavercreek. Gutterman crossing the blue line. I believe he got nicked across. I think hooking's the call. 9:35 to play in the third, and to the box will go Charlie Andrus. Beavers are 0 for 2 on power plays thus far. Again, scoring on a 4-on-4 chance. We'll drop it to the right. Of Graham. It's quickly cleared away by the Rangers' PK Cell. PK Cell has been strong for Indian Hill tonight. We have Carson Cox pushing ahead, 3-1 for Beavercreek, 9:21 to play in the third. 20 seconds gone from the power play, wide from the stick of Thomas Bush. Around the left corner, Beavercreek still maintain it. The first power play, probably the best one. While it did not result in the goal for the Beavers, they handled the puck quite sharply with passing and good looks on the net of Fritz Graham. To the right corner it goes as Gutterman drives it, goes around the side looking for an open target, and it zips away from Braden Cox. He'll have Carson Cox come in for reinforcements. But back this way will come Angus Ackerman, trying to maintain it for Indian Hill. 8:44 to play in the third. 3-1 for Beavercreek. Across the blue line, here's Bush to the right face-off circle, spin back, and now here's Braden Cox in front of the blue to the right face-off circle for his captain, Cole Gutterman. Trying to battle around a Ranger defender, and that is a nice stop on the blue line by Braden Cox. Nice block by Fritz Graham, and the rebound. Bush will pick it up. Can't get a clean shot offset rebound, though. It's Indian Hill trying to sweep it away. Here comes Cole Gutterman, tip towards the left face-off circle. Bush unable to answer. Good look there by Bush, but sent it wide right. Round the right corner, 2-on-2 battles in the boards. Riley Hansen trying to spin it out, but he's tangled up. Gets knocked down a second time. 8 to play in the third, 24 seconds to go. On the power play for Creek, they're 0 for 2 on their third power play. The second one ended abruptly. A slashing call on Ethan Webb. 10 seconds left on this 5-on-4 for Creek. Right to a Ranger defender and scoped out towards the Zamboni corner, where Bortis will maintain it. Slowing it down for Braden Cox, and we're back to 5-on-5. 7:33 to go in the third period. Beavercreek 3, Indian Hill 1. Here comes Braden Cox. Towards the right corner, chased by Luke Moore. Moore still on the back of the Beavercreek defender. Here is wingman Thomas Bush Round the right corner, chased by a couple of Ranger sticks, battling in the far boards. Swooping is Riley Hansen. It's back to the Beavers. Braden Cox in front of the neutral zone, blue line. Feeds it on in. But the Rangers will get it back. Off the ice goes Thomas Bush in place of Joey Donahue. Chipped in towards the right corner where Indian Hill trying to maintain it. Carson Cox. Turnover. Score! Andrus, the spin around deficit cutter. Andrus scores, and it's a 3-2 Beavercreek lead. 6:53 to play in the third. Carson Cox trying to prevent the turnover, but it will find Andrus spinning in front of Bortis. And down low, it's scored upon. Brand new army of Beavers out there. It's a 5-on-5 even strength goal by Andrus. Both Rangers scores in this third period have been even strength goals. Beavercreek, 2 even strength goals and a 4-on-4 goal. You can make it a 3-2 Beavercreek advantage. Thomas Bush hits it off the crossbar and into the back of the net. Bush with 2, and it's 4-2 Creek. 6:43 to play in the third. Great answer back by Bush. Takes it down to the right faceoff circle. Looked like he hit it off the crossbar and above, but hits it on the underscore of the crossbar past Fritz Graham. And the Beavers reclaim a 2-goal advantage. However, the Rangers are outscoring Beavercreek 2-1 in this third. We still have 6:40 to play in regulation. Away from the back of Owen Huff as the Rangers scored their first 2 goals of the game in this third period. Away from the grab of Masturzo. Firing in from the point. That's a nice drop and stop by Joe Bortis. That was Luke Moore firing on in. And we'll have ourselves a face-off to the left of Joe Bortis. With 6:21 to play in the third. Again, Beavercreek 4, Indian Hill 2. Good turnout of fans. We see the Lancer fans making their way up here to this second-story lobby of South Metro. Gunnerman taking on Ackerman for this face-off. Donovan's feed up ahead, blocked by Bush, and to Huff. Huff trying to battle one-on-one. I believe that's Marco on the other side. Chipped across, 1 Beaver, now marked up in the left corner. 6 to play in the third. 4-2 Creek. Thomas Bush scored that last goal after Indian Hill cut it back down to a 1-goal deficit. Beavers 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and off the protective net, that puck sails. Indian Hill 2 in the third. Still outscoring the Beavers 2-1 in this frame, meaning Indian Hill, if the score does not change or the Rangers get more goals, then the third period goal belongs to the Rangers. Face off towards the right, off the post on that send attempt, I believe possibly Donahue with that shot, maybe Riley Hansen. Around the right corner it goes, trying to turn around the circle. Here is Braden Cox, shuffled up ahead and flicked forward by the Ranger defense. It's going to curve away from Bortis and go for an icing call against Indian Hill. Black jerseys, white letters and numbers, red shoulders for the Rangers. And the Beavercreek Beavers in their first year, home white jerseys. Black numbers, orange trim, orange stripes on the elbows. 5:29 to go in the third. 4-2 Beavercreek, your score. As Hebert works it to the right from the left corner. And it will find Nick Gates on the bounce. Shuffled across towards the left. Closing on in is Hebert, trying to bump the puck away from the carrier and swept away in the slots. Samarco, who scored the first Ranger goal, unable to keep it in towards the slot. Ackerman battling now with Carson Cox and Gunnerman looking for the loose pickup. Gunnerman trying to battle across. Here's Gates sweeping it towards the right. Samarco chips it over this way. Now scooped up by Cole Gunnerman. Flings it towards the left winger, blocked with the hand of Indian Hill, and a hand pass has been called against the Rangers. That means a defensive faceoff awaits us in front of Fritz Graham with 4:45 to play in the third. As Beavercreek leads Indian Hill 4-2. And all weekend we'll be here on this YouTube channel, covering all 11 remaining games of the pod, second annual pod. It's a better way to end a season for these players, especially the seniors. Columbus District is no easy place to play, especially when, if you win a playoff game, you have a top-seeded team in front. Here's Bortis shutting out the puck and then holding in the glove as Evans on the chase will drop in front of the Beavercreek goalie as a line change occurs. Donahue and Hansen back out. Shivelbein stays out there. Braden and Carson Cox remain as the defensive pairings. 4:27 to go in the third. 4-2 Creek. As Carson Cox swoops away from Andrus, who scored that last Ranger goal. The second to last one we had. Again, the Rangers outscoring the Beavers 2-1 in this juncture. Loose puck picked up by Masturzo. Jammed up in front of the red line. Masturzo from Andrus. Through legs of Hansen. Shivelbein and Carson Cox push up ahead. We have Donahue on the left. Under 4 to play in the third. 4-2 your score favoring Beavercreek. Neutral zone pickup now for Hansen from Shivelbein. Feedback towards Shivelbein as Luke Moore back on the defense. Here's Nixon pushing across right wing. Flung past the back of the closest target. That's Masturzo. That's going to be icing on the Rangers with 3:37 to play in the third. Again, Lancers and Centerville Elks will be next. I believe Centerville will be the away team in that contest. And Sycamore will battle Alter later tonight at 9:40. We'll have 6 games of the pod for you tomorrow. We'll have some Buckeye Year-End Tournament action too. 12U B3 action. We'll have those games. Got 10 games for you tomorrow on this YouTube channel. And 5 games on Sunday. Here's Bush. Round the boards from Wardman. We have Shivelbein dialing it towards the left. Bump back was Thomas Bush. Here's Shivelbein. Gloved by Fritz Graham and quickly dropped for the incoming defender. Slowed down by Bush. Fed on in by Webb. Fitz Graham selling in the crease. Batted forward by the Rangers. That's going to go for icing. 2:52 to play in the third. 4-2 game during this weekend at the Pro Shop here at South Metro Sports. There's a sale going on and everything in store. Lots of hockey sticks, lots of gear, and something for figure skaters as well. A little bit of something for everybody back there. Drop it to the right now of Graham as Bush battling against Seamus Donahue. Make that Donovan, excuse me. Not to tangle up last names. Up ahead, it's settled by Carson Cox. Past Braden Cox and Bush. Gunneman turning around as the center with Riley Hansen, the left winger. Pass picked up by Wardman and picked off by Hansen. 2.5 remains in the third. 4-2 Beavercreek your score. Rangers outscoring the Beavers 2-1 in this third period. Pushed up ahead. Here is Braden Cox to the right face-off circle. Swarm up ahead. Rebound won't go in by Riley Hansen, but it was awful close. Flicked off the glass, heading back this way. The Beavers defense soars in. As Carson Cox in front of Braden Cox works towards the left past Cole Gutterman and Riley Hansen. Jammed up at the blue line. I believe that's Ben Wardman out there. Wardman's got a red hockey helmet compared to everyone else with a black hockey helmet. Shot saved down low by Bortis. Donovan working off a check, but Carson Cox comes up with a loose puck. Evans swooping in. Thomas Bush pushed from behind, working towards the Zamboni corner. Bush will golf it ahead. Gunneman slows it down. One-on-one with Luke Moore. Gunneman to the house. Save. Rebound. Score. And the captain rings the bell to give Beavercreek a 5-2 lead. With 1:34 to play in the third. And that fifth Beavercreek goal is the second in this third period, meaning if the score doesn't change in the last 1:34, both teams will have a point, a half a point rather, and a timeout taken by Beavercreek to talk a little strategy to close out this third period. Again, Cole Gunnerman scores. That third period point would be split in half, meaning half a point for Beavercreek, half a point for Indian Hill. We'll take the timeout with the teams here. 1:34 to go in the third. 5-2 Creek on the YouTube home of South Metro. Gutterman takes the face-off as Cole Gutterman scores the 5th Beavercreek goal. Both teams with 2 in this frame. The Beavers look for 1 more to clean sweep the Rangers. If the Rangers get 1 more late, and then that'll be a point for Indian Hill. Action behind the line of Fritz Graham. Gutterman, saved by Graham, rebound, score! Beavercreek takes a 6-2 lead, and with that 6th goal, that gives Beavercreek a 1-goal advantage in the third frame. I can't tell if that was Hansen. It was an unlettered Beaver, meaning non-alternate captain nor captain Cole Gutterman. But it's a 4-goal lead for the Beavers in our final minute of this contest. Beavers 6, Rangers 2. Beavers looking for the clean sweep of their first foe. Tripped across. Up ahead is Shivelbein. Shivelbein racing ahead to the left faceoff circle, looking for Riley Hansen to tip it in. And we have someone crash in the net of Fritz Graham. I think that's Nixon, who's starting to get up. Fritz Graham looks to be okay. Net slid a good distance, didn't it? 43 seconds left in the third, 6-2 favoring Beavercreek. And the Beavers just scored their 6th goal of the game. Their 3rd in the period to outscore the Rangers by 1. Meaning the 3rd period point goes to Beavercreek. Again, points matter to determine what time you play on Sunday. The most points will give you a chance for the championship. The least points, you're playing at 2 o'clock. Have a couple games takeaway. Here's Gutterman. Gutterman pushing ahead. That's off the body of Fritz Graham. We have a couple of Buckeye year-end tournament games before the pod action starts Sunday. One will be a consolation championship. One will be a championship game. Battling around the left corner with 8 seconds left. Beavercreek up 6-2. Drop back behind the line. Rangers, one final push into the neutral zone. Fired in by Braden Cox, and that will do it. The Beavers clean sweep the Rangers in points with 3 in all 3 periods and 2 points for the win as the Beavers defeat the Indian Hill Rangers by a 6-2 margin, and Beavercreek takes the first 5 points of the pod. Up next will be the Cincinnati Lancers and the Centerville Elks here on this YouTube channel. We hope you join us, as this is YouTube home of South Metro Sports. Again, first game of the pod in the books. Beavercreek 6, Indian Hill 2.